Yay. Leggings are, this is Charlie's project.
Reasons for educators and students.
So they can take unique part of their stuff to nonprofits. I like that.
So what is this? Oh, that's this.
Like
Okay.
It's pretty, I like that pattern.
Yeah, the first like half a dozen slides of this presentation I had to add on.
Yes, this is part
And
of
the
the
rest is do with the back line. Hi there. Hello, hello.
Oh yeah, I'm good, thank you.
Just want to make sure that works. So it's anywhere in this, like where the tape is, or?
Oh, probably in that section, probably what the tape is for. But you can, so that's just like you're gonna be on camera if you're in where the tape is. It's okay if you go off of camera. We just wanna make sure we can still hear your voice. So you just don't wanna go too far from just the front area. But it's alright if you like step off camera. It's more important that you don't get too far away vocally.
That bright light in my eyes just got me.
Yeah, exactly.
Everybody make sure you have the LinkedIn app downloaded on your phone. Because what we're going to do at the end, you can't do on your desktop or your PC or your Google Chrome. See, where I teach LinkedIn, I've been teaching it for over 5 years. I have wait lists. Nobody knows me yet.
They only knew.
If they only knew. We're gonna close the door.
Yeah, so we have another minute until 11 now. I'll close the door. Then I have to just give some instructions and I'll introduce you and then I'll be good to go. So if you want to go close the door and then finish feel and then we
That one.
You can all move up front. Hi there. Make sure you have the LinkedIn app downloaded on your phone.
Hi everybody. Welcome to LinkedIn Reasons for Educators and Students. Before we begin, please turn your cell phone ringer off. Fire regulations require that all session attendees have a chair. There is no standing in aisles or sitting on floors. Please do not use chairs for your belongings if others are looking for a place to sit. If you are plugging devices into wall outlets, keep in mind that people may be moving around during the sessions, so your devices may be damaged if someone runs into the cords. Act 48 will still be available at P&C as we have offered in the past. However, no codes will be distributed this year. You will be able to submit your Act 48 credits online via the evaluation process. You can find the links in the Attendee Service Center on the P&C webpage. And now I present to you Lynn Williams.
Good morning, everyone. Happy to be here. I'm actually a recovering K-12 teacher. So what that means is that I've gone from teacher to teacherpreneur. I own a for-profit business and I also run a non-profit business. I have 9 PDE certs and I left all that behind to do career education as my reinvention. And one of the things that I do is I teach 11 hours worth of LinkedIn content. So we're going to give you a lot of good information here today. So objectives for today are why should administrators, teachers, students be on LinkedIn, and why should anybody be on LinkedIn in general? So reasons for administrators, you can connect with other career education professionals for networking, give and receive endorsements to your colleagues or your teachers, start planning for your next career move, follow or become a thought leader by joining groups. For teachers, you can connect with other educators in your curriculum area to expand your PLN. You can find industry professionals or guest speakers who might come in to enhance your lessons. Engage in conversations in groups for topics of interest, provide recommendations and endorsements for students. So why should students be on LinkedIn? Well, this allows them to start building their online resume that they can use from here on in for the rest of their life and their career. They can collect endorsements or recommendations from teachers or coaches or potentially employers. They can connect with alumni and classmates for internships or future jobs. And they can use it to apply to college applications or use when they come out of the military to find their next opportunity or gap year, or even if they're going out in the workforce right from college or from high school. They can also highlight their awards and honors, explore companies and higher education, search for jobs, potential employers. So LinkedIn was launched in 2003. It is deemed the world's largest professional network. It has over 590 million users as of December 2018. There are 146 million users of LinkedIn in the United States alone, and every second, 2 people join LinkedIn. So objectives for part 2. I'm going to give you strategies and tips and bells and whistles and tell you where you can improve your LinkedIn profile. So you've probably seen that you have to put the oxygen mask on yourself in an airplane before you put it on your children. So as an educator, you need to make sure that you're being the model and put the mask on yourself before you teach your students. So, philosophy. This particular presentation and the content in it was developed from my philosophy. So where did I get that from? I've completed writing 3 chapters of my doctoral dissertation on social media in the classroom. Unfortunately, I don't know that I'm going to finish that. I also wrote a chapter in a book. This book is called Find Your Fit, A Practical Guide to Landing the Job You Love. The cool thing about this is, if you've heard of the book, What Color's Your Parachute, written by Dick Bowles. It's a very famous career book that's been written for 50 years. Dick Bowles wrote the foreword in this book. 16 career coaches from around the country contributed chapters to the book, and I'm chapter 8, and it is on applying for jobs. It has to do a lot with the applicant tracking system and using keywords to apply to jobs online. So taking an XHTML and Dreamweaver course, being a K-12 teacher in a classroom for 12 years, with all the certifications I have, the doctoral dissertation, and the research done for the book, I've developed my philosophy. There is no one right way or wrong way to do a LinkedIn profile. You have to do what works for you and what your career goals are. So, again, begin with the end in mind. What are your career goals? That's how you're going to program your LinkedIn profile. Now there's some controversy. Goldfish have an 8-second attention span, according to a research study done by Microsoft in 2015 in Canada, and they say humans have a 7-second attention span, or perhaps not. In any case, we have a decreasing attention span. So I've put some links down in the bottom left in some of the slides. So you will find that there are conflicting opinions about that 7 seconds, 8 seconds, 9 seconds. So, you know, take it with a grain of salt, it is what it is. But nonetheless, we do have decreasing attention spans because we are really hit with so much content every single day. So I'm going to play you a video here. Short, sweet video. I've been using that video for several years. Every year, this gentleman puts out a new video. His name is Eric Qualman, and in 2010, he wrote a book called Socialnomics. And at the time, it was really, really hot stuff. So just think of where we've come with social media since 2010 when he first wrote that book. But he was one of the people that I quoted in my doctoral dissertation, so I follow his videos every year. This is an interesting article that I ran across in the Washington Post. This one definitely deserves a read. To cognitive neuroscientists, humans seem to be developing digital brains with new circuits for skimming through the torrent of information online. This alternative way of reading is competing with the traditional deep reading circuitry developed over several millennia. So, I don't know about you, but every day I've got this in my hand and I'm going, I get hundreds and hundreds of emails a day because I have so many different emails. I'm not in K-12 anymore. So I have my nonprofit, I have my for-profit, I have my personal. It's just so much. So we're making split decisions with our brain as to what emails we're going to delete. and it's based upon who it's from and what the subject matter is, the subject line. So if you think about it, if people are coming to your LinkedIn profile, if in fact you do have a 7-second attention span or somewhere thereabouts, what is it that's going to capture their attention to make them want to read it? What do you have to do to bring them to your profile and make them stay there? What's happening is we're doing nonlinear reading. So, as a former K-12 teacher, I taught language arts to elementary school students. And we did the baseline, and we did how many words they could read per minute, and we did the comprehension test. We did this quarterly, right, to see how they progressed throughout the year. Well, as the kids get older, you know, their parents are giving them phones. They're now starting to skim and scan, just like the adults are, and their eyes are going all over the page. So they're not doing that careful reading like they were taught as little people. Here is an article that I ran across that I found extremely interesting. It was in Business Insider, and it was a study done by the Ladders. So what they said was, when a recruiter looks at your resume, you generally have 6 to 15 seconds to have them capture attention. The resume on the left is just a black and white resume. The resume on the right has these shaded bands going across it. So if you come up to the front table at the end, you can see some examples of this. So let me tell you, I'm going to take you back to your elementary science class. Students turn to page 28 and 29. On the sidebar, there's all the vocabulary words you're going to learn today about XYZ lesson. Okay, we're going to do popcorn. Johnny and Susie, you know, and everybody else follow on the popcorn and the reading. So you have your titles, you have your subtitles in the book. So you know what it is that you're going to be learning about. Then Johnny starts reading, and that word is now in context in the paragraph, right? So now you're getting a sense and a gist of what this lesson is about. Now, as an adult, if you think about it, you've probably heard when you do a PowerPoint, you tell them what you're going to tell them, you tell them, and you tell them what you just told them. Can you do that in a resume and a LinkedIn profile? Not exactly precisely. You can only tell them what you're going to tell them, and you can tell them. You can't do the back end of things. Now, LinkedIn has not integrated hyperlinks into all the places that they could at this point in time. I'm sure things will be evolutionary down the road, but we have to deal with it as the way it is right now. So how do we take this principle and make it work for LinkedIn? Because people are not going to read paragraphs. If you have paragraphs in your summary, nobody's going to read them. Maybe one, but nobody's going to read them. So here's the beginning part of a resume. Up at the top, there's the headline, which is what the headline should maybe be on your LinkedIn profile. Then you have your value proposition. Same thing, resume and on a LinkedIn profile. I never ever use the word I. As a teacher, when kids wrote, I'd take my red pen and I'd circle I. There's like 5 I's in a paragraph. Why? Make it interesting and different for the reader. So don't do that as a teacher. Model this for the students. What you want to do is write in resume ease, which is third person or first person implied I. Core competencies. What do you notice about those? They're bulleted. Alphabetical order. So the teacher in me wants to say, this is very logical. They're put in alphabetical order. So let's say somebody was applying for a position of executive assistant. W Word, G Google, P PowerPoint, Excel. That's that nonlinear reading. The person that is the hiring manager is going to want to know what that skill set is for that particular person. And if that person has 80% or more, then that might be a win. That might be a person that they might want to interview. So they're searching for logic in that. And you're making it easy for them. Career highlights, that's a little bit different way of saying accomplishments or achievements. These are quantifiable. Supervised a building of 122 teachers. You can't say for in education, but let's say you were out in the business world. Increased revenue, 325% from predecessor. Decreased expenses, 15% out of a $2 million budget, etc. So this is what it might look like in a LinkedIn profile. Because it's a PowerPoint, I can't make it go down and long. But there's the value proposition at the top. The core competencies now become a long list that's bullet pointed, and the only way you can get that list is if you copy and paste it from Word, because LinkedIn is not a word processor. And then the career highlights. What do you notice about the career highlights? There's white space in between. That allows people to skim and scan. Okay? So you say, oh gosh, that's a really long list. Guess what? When people are looking for jobs, that list is extremely important because that list is keywords. They want to be found. So it's not about making it, pretty as much as it is about getting a job and being found. Also, your LinkedIn photo. You don't want to make it a Facebook type photo. You don't want to be on the front of GQ magazine. You don't want it blurry and off color. You don't want your family. You don't want graduation garb in it. And you don't want to be cut out of a wedding picture with other people's shoulders. Okay? What you do want is a professional picture. Now, I don't know if anybody that I put up here is in this room, but there are certainly people in this conference because I went and I looked up to see the attendees. So I pulled some people up and they're now part of this presentation. So let me give you some commentary about this. In the corporate world, your top right and your bottom middle with a plain background, that's what you want. You want to be looking like you were on the executive profiles on Procter & Gamble's website. Now, top left, there's some background. Top middle, she's obviously got a classroom behind her. But and bottom right, she looks like that's some sort of a classroom or something in a school building. And then this looks like perhaps outdoor, maybe? It's blurred out. All these pictures, they're beautiful. They're friendly, they're charismatic, nice smiles, very approachable. So, again, there's no one right way or wrong way. If this is what makes you happy, even though I would say plain background, then do what makes you happy, right? If you want to identify yourself with a classroom in the background of you, then that's what you do. But your online photos are your brand. So we all have personal Facebook pages maybe, but if you are going to be using your photo for Twitter, where you put out professional information, and your LinkedIn for professional information, your photo should probably be the same photo on all social media platforms so that you can build your brand. And SEO. SEO is search engine optimization. You want to be the first one found on page 1 of Google. So if I was an ed tech teacher, instead of just putting teacher at XYZ school district, I would want to brand myself with the keywords, my skill set, my special sauce that made me me. So this is how you would rename your photo before you load it up to LinkedIn. Now, if you have a photo up on LinkedIn, what you can do is drag and drop it to the desktop. You right-click on it, and then you rename it. You do not use underscores. You use dashes in between. If you were to go to YouTube and type in underscores versus dashes, you will find a gentleman wearing a yellow t-shirt from Google Webmasters. and he will tell you from 2011 the importance of using dashes instead of underscores for building meta tags. So how many characters can you have before the .jpeg? Anybody know?
It used to be like 27 or something.
No, it's 256.
Or was that with Windows? That was the law.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm a Mac girl. So it's 256 characters before the .jpeg. So you put your first name dash, last name dash, and everything that is your secret sauce and all the keywords that relate to you. It should mirror the keywords that are in your headline, but it should also mirror other keywords that make you you. So the target areas for keywords in LinkedIn are your headline, summary, job titles, embellished, skills and endorsements, publications and projects. So let's talk about the headline. Your headline is 120 characters if you do it on the desktop. And I'm going to go live in the last 10 minutes. I've got my alarm set on my phone so that we have that 10 minutes to pull up a LinkedIn profile, and I will do a live demo. The summary is 2,000 characters. I showed you my secret sauce. I do the value proposition, which is 2, 3, 4 sentences. I do the alphabetical list of keywords, and then I do career highlights, which are quantifiable accomplishments with white space in between. Job titles embellished. Okay, so because I have 9 certs, let's see, in high school I taught personal finance, accounting 1, business and technology, Microsoft Office. So I could say teacher, space, pipe, space, and put all those other subject areas that I taught to embellish that job title for a particular district. Skills and endorsements. There, you can have 50 of them, so you should absolutely positively have 50 of them so that LinkedIn does not auto-suggest or auto-complete. So you manage and control your keywords. Your publications and projects. Many of you are working on master's degrees, EDDs, etc. So if there's anything that you've published online, by all means, if you don't toot your horn, who's going to toot it for you? Now, there are several keyword analyzers that you can use, and my top 2 on the top left, I bolded because they are my 2 favorite. Those are my go-tos. So in the last class, I just learned about Google Word Cloud Maker. I'm going to absolutely positively check that out, but right now, I use wordart.com. The reason I use wordart.com is when I import words from a job description, it'll tell me exactly how many of those words are in there, and that way when I'm working with a job seeker, I weave in the keywords into the resume, and I also weave in the keywords into the LinkedIn profile. But if you're not looking for a job, not necessary. The other one is jobscan.co. It is not .com. I did not make a mistake. That is one of the best websites ever for job seekers. And what that does is it analyzes a job description versus your resume. And it'll tell you what skills are matching, what skills are missing, etc. So I've got a screenshot of that coming up. So let's talk about these headlines. And you don't want to just be teacher, okay? You're more than teacher. So if you were in ed tech, here are some keywords that you could use to add on your secret sauce based upon your skill set. So you want to be more specific. You can have 50 skills and endorsements, so have 50 skills and endorsements. All right, you want to be able to share what makes you different, what's your secret sauce, what's your differentiator, and what distinguishes you from somebody else who is also in your same field. Now, if you are looking for a job, I know it's a little bit different. I'm on PA, REAP, etc. But if you decide once upon a time you're going to retire or reinvent yourself and you go out into the corporate world, just know that 93 to 94% of hiring managers do go to LinkedIn to look at your profile. So, you know, you've got to be able to express that in keywords. And I already mentioned the value proposition. That should be written in first person implied I, in resume ease, so to speak. So here is a video, and this is the first time I used wordart.com and I screencastified it. It really needs updating. It used to be called Taggle. So if you look up Lynn Williams Taggle on YouTube, you will find this video, but at least it'll give you a little bit of an idea.
Hi, this is Lynn Williams. I want to show you how to use a Taggle word cloud today to find keywords. We're going to take a job description that was posted for an instructional designer, and I've highlighted some of the key elements of the job description, and I'm going to copy and paste it right into Taggle. So if you're brand new to it, you're going to click sign up, and you can sign in with your Google account, Facebook, or Twitter. In my case, I already have an account, so I'm going to click on login. I'm going to sign in with my Google account. I'm going to create a new word cloud, and I'm going to import my words, and I'm going to right click and click on paste. And these two lines, job requirements and key skills required for the position, those are really not needed. And you can see I have the boxes checked for remove common words, remove numbers, and stemming. So now I'm going to click on import words, and right here it tells me how many times the words are used. So then I will click on shapes, and I'll just pick a square. I will click on fonts, and I'll check this one. I'll click on layout, and I'll choose horizontal and vertical. Colors and animations, I'll just take what they've given me, and then I'm going to click on visualize, and there it is. So you're going to see that design and ensure and expert are the most used keywords in this job advertisement. Material, courses, plus, matter, client, etc. are the next most used words. So those are the words that you would like to get into your LinkedIn profile as well as your resume. That's it. You can grab and share it, and you can put it on email, Google+, Facebook, Twitter, or provide a link, or for free you can make a 1 megapixel PNG. There you go.
So since that time, I've learned a little bit more about wordart.com, and you have to actually click on the colors, and you can add the colors that you want to the color palette you want. And then also when you choose a square, there's a little handle in the bottom right hand corner of the square, and you can get a different aspect ratio. So that way you can get a rectangle and make your LinkedIn banner, your custom LinkedIn banner for that. Now, just as I showed you how to make a meta tag for your photo, you should also make a meta tag for your LinkedIn banner. So it would be Lynn-Williams-LinkedIn-resumes-social-media, blah, 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 photo.jpg or banner.jpg. So I've got that 256 characters to help rename the meta tag, because Google indexes these keywords. Okay, doesn't like that. I have to do it manually.
May I ask a question?
Sure.
So you basically find your dream job posting and grab those words from it? Or do you have to change this
Yes.
for every...
Well, you can only have one LinkedIn profile, right? Now your resume, your past history is your past history on your resume. But you're going to position yourself in your future forward in the top part of your resume, okay? As you do with the headline and the summary in your LinkedIn profile. That is your future forward. Now, when I was a K-12 teacher, I was a single parent. I always had a side gig. I started my side gig in 1994 before I even became a teacher. So I always had that little extra income. I'm a very hard worker, always have been. So that side gig is now my full-time gig? Who knew? But anyway, you want to get matchy-matchy with all those keywords. And here's what jobscan.co, this is what their old platform looked like. So they've upgraded the platform, and I'm not exactly precisely looking for a job, I'm looking more for a fit. But it'll give you the same type of information. It'll tell you how many skills were matched between your resume and the job, and how many skills were found, and what's missing. It highlights what's missing, which is really cool. Now, your summary. 2,000 characters, as I mentioned. You want to use keywords in the summary. It's one of those critical places where you want to use keywords, but you want to break it down into sections. And I'm going to show you live what some profiles look like, so you have an idea of what the end goal is. So your bullet points, your value proposition should probably be no more than 2 to 4 sentences, and you want to provide your value proposition with the pain points that you're going to solve for an employer, okay? But as a teacher, you know, definitely say, here's a sentence that's going to start with I. I love children. So even though I'm no longer in K-12, I still volunteer to do junior achievement and whatnot because I love children. I miss the children. And you definitely got to have white space. So here's some ideas on some summary sections and how do you create those in LinkedIn? The only way that I know at this current point in time is, you know how if you made a headline, instead of typing it upper and lowercase, just do it all uppercase and put white space above and below it. So it's like, that's kind of like that science book that I told you about in the elementary. You're telling the people what they're going to learn about, and then you type it. What they're going to learn about, and then you type it. Now, white space absolutely positively does matter. So I snagged this from a couple clients that I did. The one on the right was somebody's profile I did, oh my gosh, back in 2013, in December. You can see it's hard to read. You can't skim and scan it because all the bullet points are smashed together. But this one you can certainly read. Now, you can see all the bullet points are 1 or 2 lines at the most. If you have it more than 2, it gets more paragraphy. It's definitely hard to read. So concise, short, and sweet. That's the way you want to go. This lady is amazing. She was one of my mentors in LinkedIn. She actually teaches LinkedIn more for business development and sales and social selling. And I took my tract on the road and to help more job seekers. So, little interesting tidbit. I am certified in special ed. I also taught gifted and talented. I used to write IEPs, GIEPs, and reevals. So I look at what I do now. My for-profit is I do 2 things. I write resumes and LinkedIn profiles. That's what I do for a living. I'm writing a GIP for adults to help them reach their potential. So it's all individualized, just like for the kids. She, on the other hand, is not helping people get jobs. She's helping them get clients, get business for their businesses. So if you look at her headline, it says, transforming the way professionals grow their businesses by leveraging LinkedIn to schedule more calls with targeted buyers. Learn social selling tips in my summary below. That is called a call to action. What she's doing is telling you to take an action and go down below. Now she starts with her summary, learn top LinkedIn and social selling strategies. She calls that a call to read. I liked it, so I said I'm using that in my presentation. What she wants you to do, she wants you to click see more, or read more, or whatever the words are, so that you read what's in her summary. Does that entice you to do that call to action to do more? On a newspaper, you know that it's folded in half and you got the top of the fold. When you go to a website, before you have to scroll down, it's the same thing, top of the fold, your LinkedIn profile, top of the fold. What is going to grab people's attention for your profile? Now, these people are at the conference, at least this guy is. I liked picking him out because he used to work for the Pottstown School District, as did I. He used to work, and he works at North Penn School District, and I used to work there too. Now, he says learning coach at North Penn School District. So, actually on his profile, it says North Penn School District. So, he's missing the opportunity on putting all the key words in his headline. Whereas this lady has got hers a little bit more filled out. These are just random people I picked. But you know, it's on the internet, it's free, you know, open to anybody to pick. Now, the guy up at top, he's got, you know, a few things in there, but he could go more. He doesn't have his full 120 characters. Here, we have one sentence. Okay? If you look at the LinkedIn most used buzzwords, you will never see, you will see accomplished. You don't want to use the word accomplished in there. Okay? Now, this person, more robust. Definitely has got more meat on there. And look at that, she's not even writing with an I. Now, my daughter, because she used to work as the building tech specialist at Unionville Chatsford, she's connected first level to this guy. I'm not connected to him. He's a second level. What happens is LinkedIn is a funnel, okay? Your first level connections are down below. Your friends of friends are here in the wider section. Your friends of friends of friends are here. And then the other 590 million people are outside of the funnel. Because I'm not connected to him or anybody he knows, or well, I'm not connected to him, second level connection, I didn't see a picture. So I said, oh my gosh, this is like a great slide that I can pull up. He needs to change his profile, public profile settings. So up at the top right, you can see linkedin.com/in/Lynn Williams. I customized my LinkedIn URL, and so should you. It takes less than 30 seconds. You want to brand yourself with your first name, last name, or something. Maybe first name, middle initial, last name. If it's already taken, it's already taken. But somehow or another, you want to brand yourself with your first name, last name, because LinkedIn is a database. Okay, you know how databases work. Now down at the bottom right, it says public. Obviously, Ron is not checked public, so that's why I cannot see his picture, but my daughter can because she's first level.
So in regards to last name, do you recommend keeping maiden name? Because I know you can do like in parentheses. So
Yes.
Caitlin, parentheses,
Absolutely.
Scott, and then Gibson.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Just so it's in the database I can search.
When I will pull that up, when I pull my daughters up, I'll show one of them's married and one of them is not, and I'll show you what that looks like.
Okay, great.
Okay. Now, this is somebody that my daughter did a screenshot of, and because it's somebody I guess she used to work with at Unionville Chatsford. So messaging them, if you have a free account, you get 5 free messages in the entire life of LinkedIn if you are not a first level connection to somebody. So if you don't have LinkedIn Premium, you have to connect with somebody. So the idea with LinkedIn is, this is social media, get social. So you can also customize the LinkedIn invitation by adding a note. Now, if you see that there's no button for connect under somebody's profile because they're third level, you have to click the 3 little dots. And then this menu comes down and then you can click connect. Okay? 50 skills and endorsements, absolutely positively have those. And publications and projects, you definitely want to publish whatever is readily available online. If there's something confidential, you know, or proprietary to an organization, obviously you can't publish the link for that. This is my daughter, who used to be the building technology specialist in Unionville, Chatsford. She now works for Comcast. And she did her master's in instructional technology at St. Joe's. And her professor said, could you please create an electronic portfolio? And she said, well, can I create it on LinkedIn? And he said, yeah, sure, why not? So she has beefed up her LinkedIn profile with her documents and her media underneath her summary, so that there's links to links of all the different things that she's done. She started in middle school doing the morning announcements. She went to high school and participated in the TV studio, and that inspired her to become major at Ryerson University in Toronto. That inspired her to do video editing as her major in college. So although she doesn't do video editing for Comcast, she still has that knowledge and uses those skills if necessary, but she can at least highlight her work and her videos that she's made and put those on her LinkedIn profile. So she did a little if this then that app, how to make a recipe, and then how to make a low-fat pumpkin pie in a Vitamix. It's really cute because it shows the perspective from the oven with the pie coming in. So it shows that what she learned with her video editing skills. You can have 100 groups. You should absolutely positively be in your alumni groups, undergraduate, graduate, and many other different types of groups. In fact, there's a P&C group, which nobody participates in very much. Maybe me. I did the last post in that. This is a great article. There's a gentleman from Britain who writes publicwords.com for public speaking, and I like his blog, and I like this article. It's very short and sweet about thought leadership, and I definitely recommend reading that one. You definitely want to blog. You want to blog on LinkedIn. So the top arrow down there is my daughter's LinkedIn profile, and she was asked to create a WordPress for her St. Joe's instructional technology class. So if you've got high school students and you're gearing them up for careers, language arts class even, and coordinate with the business and technology teacher or something if they're in that class, this is going to get students writing. This is real, this is meaningful to them, to their future. Maybe they're on the high school newspaper. You know, they can highlight articles that they've written. This will get them writing so that you can meet those language arts standards, but it gives them, you know, real live stuff that they can do to help propel their career in the future, whether they are going into the workforce, into the military, or onto college. So your homework is some of these items, and I'm going to pull up some live profiles so you'll know what it's supposed to look like at the end. And here's some things that are on a profile checklist. Now, what we're going to do right now, well, we're going to do this in a minute. I'm going to pull up stuff live first. And then we're going to use the app, and we're going to connect. The timing is good. All right. All right, let me get rid of these messages here. Okay, so this top left button that's your home button. That'll always get you back to this home page. To pull your profile up, you're just going to pull that up. All right. Now, if I wanted to search for somebody, I'm going to pull up. I'll pull up a PhD. Okay. So this guy has all his keywords. Oops, sorry. This guy has all his keywords in his headline. And then he has the value proposition. There's all his core competencies, all in alphabetical order, his career highlights, and he came to me with a 7-page resume that had all his patents and publications on it, and you can see it on the table when you come up front. He now has a 2-page resume, and all his patents and publications are on a separate doc, and that's attached up top.
Is there a certain length anymore for what a resume should be? I know it used to be keep it 1 page.
No. There's no rhyme or reason. It could be 1 page, it could be 2 pages, it could be 3 pages. My standard is typically 2 pages. Even for senior level people, I will cut it down because on a resume you only want to go back 12 to 15 years. Your LinkedIn profile can be longer, but your resume wants to be that short, sweet, concise, quantifiable accomplishments, achievements, whatnot. All right, so here is bullet points. You can see the white space in between. Then we go down and you can see all his keywords and how he gets endorsed. Now here are 39 publications and 21 patents. Okay, I'm going to pull up my former boss since he is in education. All right, love this man. He was my principal at Pottstown School District, and then he went to North Penn, as did I. So, value proposition, it was a little bit too long for 1 paragraph, so it's broken down into 2. There's all his core competencies and his career highlights. So he was principal, Wissahickon and various things. See the bullet points in between? And he got his EDD at Penn. And he is at Penn State. And of course I gave him a nice recommendation. All right. Then here's all his honors and awards. And he is in the process of reinventing himself. Very keen on diversity and inclusion, as you can see from the word cloud that was made for him. I'm going to show you somebody who is a writer, and she is an advocate of autism. So here she is. She changed her headline because she's now got this gig with Parade, which is awesome. When we first met, she had 38 LinkedIn connections. There's her value proposition, all her core competencies, career highlights. Interviewed President Bill Clinton, Hillary Clinton, Shimon Peres, and NASA astronauts, soon to be Lynn Williams, when I give her the go. I can't handle the publicity right now. I'm pretty busy. So, but here is a project of publications, and I just want to show you this. There's my alarm. This is cool. So because she writes online, you can actually pull up these publications that are online. So if we can get to the right one here. Oh, well, Sesame Street. That's not really what I wanted, but she interviewed Will Smith and Tina Fey and whatnot. So you'll see those publications in there. Is there anybody else we could pull up? I don't know, I think, do you have questions? Can I answer any questions? Okay. Let's go do a couple things here. I'm going to skip this slide for a second, and I'm going to go to the next slide. So for those of you who came in late, the left, the left QR code is this presentation, but I also put the link online under the speaker. Now the right thing is a QR code that you can actually get on LinkedIn. So if you pull up your app, I'm going to teach you this first, and then I'll teach you the Find Nearby. So you want to pull up your LinkedIn app, and then at the top, you see the search bar, and there's 4 little gray square type things. You want to tap that, and what's going to happen is one says scan, and the other says my code. So you can scan from LinkedIn, hopefully my code, and it'll pull my profile up. But let's say you happen to be at a networking event, you're at the Chocolate Fest tonight, and you want to connect with other people on LinkedIn. Teachers typically don't have business cards, right? So this is a way of doing an instant connect with other people that do have the LinkedIn app, and you can make that instant connection. Who knew about this before? Anybody? Oh, so you learned something new. Cool. All right. So now the next thing is, down at the bottom left, we're going to go back to that slide. Oops. This one. Okay. So we're going to do something called LinkedIn Find Nearby. Nobody else, other than the people in this room doing this at the same time, are going to be participating. So down at the bottom left, you hit the 2 little heads. At the top middle, you click Find Nearby. Now if you've never done this before, you're going to enable the Bluetooth on your phone. And we're going to see who pops up here with me. I will know when you're here. Oh, here we go. So Brad, I'm going to tap the plus sign. So I just invited you. Caitlin, I'm already connected to because we were chatting outside. Here's Michelle, tap. Right? So what happens is when you're at a big networking event and you want to get everybody connecting, you just go tap, 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 tap. And you know that even though it's not a personal invite, you are still making connection of people in your tribe. Again, because teachers typically don't have business cards. This is a great way to network with your tribe.
So this working in like the room next door too?
Well, they have to be doing it at the same time as us. It's only the people that are knowing about it. So when I get off this, that's it. You won't see me anymore.
Okay.
If you get off of it, so when there's a big, big, big crowd, you have to give it 5-10 minutes or whatever for people to get caught up. They're like, how do I do that? So, do you like this?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's always like, I want business, like, I need business cards, I want business cards. Nope.
Okay.
Awesome.
So speaking of business cards, because I am in business, you will find 2 things at the back. You will find my for-profit business card, you will find my nonprofit business card, and you will find a piece of paper for the Philadelphia Area Great Careers Group. I took over the group in 2015. It was started in 2010. It had 1,722 members. I felt it was a community organization, and it was a pay-it-forward, help job seekers. And so I went to Immaculata University, and I was adopted by a master's degree change management class by a professor, and the class adopted me as their client. They changed me from a sole proprietor to a nonprofit corporation. I put a board together. They helped me write the bylaws, the roles and responsibility for the board members. They talked me out of 11 board members to start, brought me down to 7, and lots of other stuff. And they said, oh, you can file a 1023-EZ, which I did with the IRS. We didn't use an attorney. We didn't use a CPA. It was approved by the IRS in 8 days. So we had our first board meeting. The professor from Immaculata was there, and we've had many, many board meetings since. We're all volunteer-based. Nobody gets paid anything, me neither. I volunteer full-time, go figure, and I work part-time. But it's an amazing organization for career transition and career management. We're all about managing your career. So as a teacher, you still need to manage your career. You need to keep your career documents up to date, your resume, LinkedIn, interviewing skills. And if you take the piece of paper and look at the back, if you're in the southeast Pennsylvania area, Chesco, Delco, Montco, Bucks, Berks, Philly, or Wilmington, you will see how much there is for free. It's truly amazing. It's all run by volunteers. So how do we make our money? We work on donations from our job seekers who land, hopefully. And we're working on monetizing. So I just joined PAECT for $35. I'm like, yep, that's a great number. So we're going to have a membership fee of $35, and you're going to get a lot of career goodies, in exchange for that. That's coming. Our website's almost built. And then we're going to have an online learning management system platform, and we'll have our speakers videotaped for longer presentations, hour presentations, and then we're going to get some volunteers, hopefully, to make micro-learning videos for us so that people can go with the way they learn, long, short, a little bit of everything. So we have videos being uploaded to Vimeo now, and the Lifter LMS will be coming on our WordPress website very soon. So that way we can get outside of the greater Philadelphia area and tap into other people who need career education, and we're the Walmart Costco price. We feel that we want to reach the average person that has bills to pay or doesn't have an income. So that's what we do. All right. So there's my contact information. And again, you can access this deck here. And then I put an appendix in because I felt I had way more than an hour's worth of content. So there's links and whatnot that you can get there. How about if I show you a couple more little tips, because I got 2 minutes here. Now, if I were to click on my home button, I'm going to go down to, I got to go to bring up my profile full, and I'm going to go down to the dashboard. Now, you probably don't have the kind of views that I have. I have 1,085 views in the past 90 days. Nobody knows me here, but I built a name up for myself in the job seeker community in Greater Philadelphia. So I have a lot of people looking at my profile. I've been at the conference, so I've only got 86 people looking at my last post. But here is career interests. So if you have this on, this shows people that you are recruiters, that you are interested in potentially looking at making a move. You only have 300 characters, so I use ampersands instead of the word A&D, and I might use W/ for with if I'm trying to get my point across, because this is something that the recruiters can read in the recruiter platform. Now, I'm casually looking, all right? I'm not looking for a job, I'm looking for a fit. If somebody had a professional development opportunity or something that was career related, career services, higher ed, something like that, or high school, I would absolutely positively go for it. But you could do actively applying, not looking, but open to offers, or not open to offers. And then you want to put job titles you're considering and keywords and whether you want full-time, contract, part-time, temporary, and all the industries. You will not find me in the insurance industry or the car sales industry. That's not my bag. Or health or pharma. But here's the biggest thing. When I say it's important about keywords and key titles, here is an eye-opening thing. If I'm going to put in project manager, and wait a minute, sorry, I gotta be on jobs. Jobs tab, I'm almost done. I just want to show this one little demo, and then we'll wrap up. All right, so search jobs. Project manager, and I want Greater Philadelphia area. If I click that, there are 3,512 jobs. Now, let me show you what a difference one letter makes. If I change the R to management, and I were to click again, there are now 8,195. Keywords matter, key titles matter. When in Rome, do as the Romans. When in Greater Philadelphia or wherever you live, do as that area. So you want to put in, technology education, technology integration. You want to try all different combinations of who you are and what you do so that you get the maximum bang for your for your buck on the keywords. And then if you know Adobe, if you teach manufacturing skills, whatever, like one of my certs is business and technology. So I would want to put down that I taught personal finance, accounting, whatnot. So those are actually on my LinkedIn profile. Because I left K-12, I bundled up all my K-12 experience in my various districts into one experience because I've moved on from that per se. So certified PDE teachers, 7 teaching and 2 administrative. And so there's all my certs. There's my instructional experience, but I still keep all my criminal, child, and FBI clearances. I update them every year because you never know. So thank you all for coming. Come up and take a look at the documents up front. Grab the cards and the papers in the back, but I'd be happy to stay and answer questions. Did y'all learn something? Going home? Got homework?
Yeah.
All right. So, yeah, I had no idea how many people were going to come. So I don't know if did this really record? Because it's red, it's not
Mine was
green.
red when I was talking to you.
Huh?
Red normally means
Yeah, red.
Okay. Good. All right.
Said you look so familiar, I don't know.
So, where are you from?
Bucks County.
Bucks County.
Oh, you're Bucks County.
Oh, I taught at the Bucks County Community College.
Okay.
I taught LinkedIn for SCORE. I'm a SCORE volunteer.
So Mike Becker,
Yeah.
same connection, so I was like, it's funny the other.
Yeah. So this is an applicant tracking system, deconstructed resume. That's what the chapter in the book is about. So you have to take your pretty resume and deconstruct it to make it go through online applications. This is called a one-pager. So one-pager is when you're going out networking, at least in my circles, and you put your target companies on here. So I do have a veteran who's a teacher, and he's a social studies teacher. He's not quite ready to jump because he lost his wife to cancer. So, but he and I have been chatting about how to reconfigure him.
Now, how do you build your resume? Like, what work process?
I use a Google Doc as a collaborative template when I'm dealing with a client, and then we turn it into a Word document afterwards. So this is, since there's so few of you, I didn't know how many people were coming, so one person left, 2, 3, 4, 5. Take one, pass down. Uh-oh, I have 2 of these. Sorry.